Hey ladies, welcome back to the Pretty Fearless podcast with me, your girl, Morgan Tracy J. I am so excited because I'm coming today to talk to you all about the Christian pressure to marry. Okay, girl. You guys, if you've been on my journey, you've known I've done 7 years of singleness, and I definitely have been a part of that culture, so I don't want to act like I haven't. But I'm actually really want to talk to you guys today about being a Christian woman for so long and being single and kind of how certain things would make me spiral, okay? And I just want you to hear from my side. So maybe if there's other single women in your life, you also can be a little more sensitive to this matter, but also be understanding that everybody may not desire what you think you assume what they did. But I want to tell you, if you have not already, make sure you are following the podcast either over on Spotify or Apple. Also, make sure if you haven't watched the video format of this, watch the video as well. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's going to be so impactful. I promise you, girl, it's going to just value your life. My goal was to drop nuggets all the time. If you've already followed us, take a screenshot of you following us and tag us at Morgan Tracy J on Instagram so you can be in the running for some Fearless merch. To be honest with you guys, when this came up, it was actually in a Q&A I did on my Instagram. Somebody said, can you talk about the pressure to marry? And I'm like, yes, because honestly, I have had a lot of pressure, and at times I think people would assume that oh, she just can't find a man. Okay, that's just what it is. And honestly, that was never the problem. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. It was never a problem that I couldn't find a man. The problem was that sometimes I did not want to marry that man. And I think sometimes the pressure in the Christian sphere is that when you are with a person, you need to marry, or you need to end up going down that aisle. And the pressure also is if you've been single for a long time, it's almost like God is going to bless you with the husband. Oh, God is preparing your husband. I know it. I would get words like, oh, I've been praying for you and your future husband. I know God's going to bring that. When at the time, that was not my desire. I didn't even want a husband at that time. Wasn't even praying for that. I didn't even desire that. So I really want to tell you today my experience. And I will say my experience has been great, but then also there has been some pressure points that really made me at times feel like I was incomplete as a single woman. Trust me, there were many times as a single woman I felt like I'm not complete because I don't have a husband. I'm not complete because they're saying, oh, Morgan, we're praying for your husband. Oh, Morgan, you would probably be able to get more opportunities if you did have a husband because you're not just a single woman doing ministry, right? There were things sometimes I felt like if I had a husband in this room, you would have talked to me differently. You would have approached me differently. You wouldn't have tried me on that level, right? So see, there are real talk, there's real moments at times where I felt like I was incomplete as a single woman. All right. Especially when you got questions like, so you don't talk to nobody? You don't chat with anyone? I would get those questions, and sometimes that would make me feel very incomplete, where people would be like, so you don't talk to nobody? You don't chat with no man? I would really get those questions. And then trust me, I have had many times where people even ask me, are you sure you don't like the same sex because you've been single for a long time? Or you haven't got married. Is there something wrong with you? That was some real questions, you guys. Okay. And don't think I'm just bringing things out of nowhere, y'all. I got some receipts. All right. This one girl commented, and this was earlier this year. She said, girl, I love Jesus. But no offense, do you have a man yet by now? Because it's been decades. I'm tired of seeing you in the same place at the same point, or am I missing something? I've watched for 5 years like God got me. You or somebody else a man. He should be here by now, right? Been there or here by next year. What's going on? And even when I got that comment, I thought, wow, if this would have been a few years ago, that would have made me spiral. Because it was like, man, where's your man yet? But then it's like, why do I need a man, right? But even when I got that comment, I was actually already engaged and had been engaged for a few months. And so I wasn't even tripping I actually have my man. But there were seasons when I did not want a man. There were seasons when I truly was not focused on a man. And I would go to a conference, someone would be like, oh, the Lord is going to fill that need for your husband. And he's going to, and I would be looking like, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that right now. Please don't feel that need. I do not want that. And there were even seasons where someone would be like, you know what? You're going to be a great mother. The Lord has showed me this. And I'll be looking at them like, I don't even want kids. No, that ain't what I want. But there is that pressure in the church to feel like, a woman is supposed to be a wife and a mother automatically off the bat, when I was in my, early 20s, mid 20s, and people were saying things to me, and I'm like, okay. Like, I had to also understand, I hope people can understand what I'm trying to say is that just because a girl is single and she's abstinent, and sometimes I was even saying celibate. I hope you all was catching things back then, because there was times I was on a celibacy. I was not being absent. I was on a celibacy journey, meaning I did not want to end that journey. I did not want a husband. But abstinence is I'm waiting until marriage. Celibacy is I'm choosing to be celibate. Like I'm not entertaining that. I'm not pursuing that. And I think that is okay for women to be aware of what they want in that season. And the church sometimes makes you feel like, man, you're different. And I will say, y'all, I felt really weird, especially when someone would talk about children, and inside I would be like, I don't even know if I want kids. And then even when people would be talking to me about marriage and like, I know God is going to do this for you and stuff. I remember there were seasons, especially in my mid 20s, later 20s, I didn't want marriage. I would be like, and this is the thing too, don't ever think because a woman is single that there are no prospects, because that can be true for some, but there were many prospects. There were men that truly proposed to me. There were men that I even thought like, I like him, but I don't want to marry him right now. I don't want to marry in this season. I don't want to get married, right? There were men that I was seeing and were with that I really liked and enjoyed, but I just was like, I don't want to marry you. And it wasn't because of him. It was because of me. It was like my life, what I wanted right now was not marriage, okay? But I will say that pressure in the beginning made me feel very weird. But I'm so grateful that I stuck to the Lord with like the Lord's path for me, and not just the pressure of the church. Like, oh, well, you better get married. Oh, well, you need to be married. Like, no. I didn't follow that. I was like, you know what? I feel like God is calling me to women's ministry. I want to focus on that. I want to travel the world. I want to empower his daughters. Like that was my focus. Like I wasn't like, and even though maybe I would talk about like, singleness and waiting for your husband and things like that, and I always said this, waiting didn't mean you were sitting there twiddling your fingers. Like, wait, you were becoming. And I always said, like, are you waiting or are you becoming? Because I want to become a healed version. I want to become that woman of God. And then my husband will see me. I don't want to be waiting for this man to save me. I don't want to be waiting on my life to start when he comes. No. So see, sometimes in the church, you feel like you're incomplete. And that was something I encountered, especially getting comments. Like, I remember one time I had a friend years ago. It was right around Valentine's Day. And she was like, you have a Valentine? And I'm like, no. She's like, are you talking to anybody? You're not talking to nobody? And I remember I felt very insecure. And I was like, oh, well, I was kind of chatting with this one guy, which really he slid in my DMs. And I never responded because he just wasn't the caliber of man that I was wanting, And like I had looked at it, he just wasn't that caliber of man. And I remember like I lied and I was like, well, I'm kind of chatting with this one a little bit. And that wasn't the truth. And then I felt bad for lying. So I actually went and chatted with him for a little bit. But that right there just shows you like sometimes we feel like I guess it's, I'm supposed to have somebody on my list. Like I'm supposed to have a roster. Like I'm supposed to have someone in the midst. I'm supposed to be talking to somebody. And I will say this though. I started to feel my desires change. I went from this like, I'm going to build this women's ministry. I've got an office in the city. I'm going to work hard at this. And then slowly in the later 20s, my desires started to change. And I actually was speaking to a therapist one time in a therapy session. And I was talking to her about, I don't have that same drive like I used to like go and do all these things. Like I kind of want to be more calm instead. I want to sit down. I don't want to travel so much. I don't want to go to different cities and the things that I desire, the things are changing. And she smiled and I was like, and I think I actually want a man. Like things started changing. But I will say, if I allowed the church or if I allowed the pressure of, hey, I gotta be married. I'm in my late 20s. I need children. I need a baby. Y'all, I would have probably got married and had a baby with 3-4 men ago, like so many different, seasons ago, based off of this is what I should do, not this is what I really feel led to do, because my heart and my spirit up to that moment did not feel led to get married and did not feel led to have children. I didn't feel led to that. I felt led to do ministry. I felt led to go do these great things in my career, in my purpose. That's what I felt led to do. That was what got me up in the morning. That's what I was excited about. And I did not see how a husband or a child fit in that. And I did not want to add those other things to my plate because I already felt like my plate was already so full. I felt so good. Like my plate was full that I did not feel like I don't want to add a husband and I don't want to add a child to this plate because my plate is so full. And so then I'm in my therapy session some years later. I think I'm at like 28 at the time. And I'm talking to her about how my desires, or 27, 28, about how my desires had changed. And I'm talking to her about how I don't understand though, because like I wanted this and I've worked my tail off for this and I wanted this for all these years, but now I'm noticing I want someone to come home to. I want a friend. I want a companion. Like, see, I'm talking about all this. And she said, it's okay that your desires changed. And I'm like, okay. And I kid you not, she talked to me in that therapy session about desires changing, about, relationships and stuff. And I remember walking out of there thinking, I think my desires have changed. I actually think I probably may want to get married. I didn't know. Like, I still was on the fence for a while. And it's so funny that even my now husband, when we first like really started talking, I remember I told him, I don't want to have kids and I don't want to get married. So don't even entertain me because I'm not even going to do anything sexually. Like, I don't even want kids and I don't want to be married. So there's no reason for you to pursue me. Like, go on about your way. Like, I literally had that conversation with him in person. And now today we're married, obviously, but I literally told him up front, like, I don't want to have kids and I don't want to get married. I just want to do the great exploits for the Lord. And so there's no reason for you to pursue me. Like, I'm going to do me. And thank God he obviously didn't listen and he went on his path and we both obviously just followed the Lord and it led us to so much more. But I just like think of that now, like there was things changing in me based off of God's timing and not based off the pressure of the church or the pressure of I'm 29, I'm coming on 30, I need to do this. Like, not that pressure left me. And I'm so grateful because at 32, I actually got married at 31. And that would have felt, if I still felt all that pressure of being incomplete, that would have felt so late to me. It would have felt so late because at 25, I felt like I was late. I felt like, man, like, why? What is wrong with me? Why don't I fully want to go forward in marriage? And every time a guy would get close to like those things, something would happen. And I would realize I don't want to be attached to this man. Like, I would realize that, like, this is not the man I want to be attached to for the rest of my life or however long. Like, this is not that man. And so I will just say that, like, the pressure in the Christian church is real, but if you are a single woman, I want to remind you that you are on your path. You are on your God-given path. Don't jump ship. Don't grab the man because he bought the ring and now you feel forced to say yes. Don't do that. Be with the person that you feel like is best for you and that best understands who you are. Not the person that people say you should be with or the person that people say, well, you know what, this is what you should get married, you should have children, and you should do it like this. No. Do it how the Lord is leading you to do it, right? I did not go into the relationships thinking, oh, this is, or my late 20s, oh, I'm going to marry this particular person. I also was kind of struggling with, do I want to get married? Like those were the things I was kind of wondering about. And so I just want to encourage you, be willing to go on that journey and don't feel the pressure that, oh, by 30, I got to be married. Oh, by 28, I got to know that I want a husband and kids. Like, I will tell you, like, I did not have those answers, and that is okay. But also don't allow people's comments or what they think about you being incomplete to truly make you feel incomplete, because there were a lot of seasons of my singleness I felt incomplete because of the pressure and because of the comments. Oh, I'm praying for your future husband. Oh, girl, I know God. Oh, God, your husband is around the corner. When I'm like, please don't let him be around the corner. I don't want him to be around the corner. I want to keep living the life God has called me to live and he's shown me. And so I just want to like encourage the single ladies out there. I was you for 7 years. Okay. I did 5 years of singleness and then I did 2 more additional years. I did 5 years straight of singleness and I went through a relationship and then I did 2 more years. And in those 7 years of singleness, I will say it probably was the last 2 years where I finally felt complete, that my plate was full and that I was blessed and that I did, and it would be a luxury for that man to come and fill up, on this plate. It would not be needed. It would not be something I needed. It would be just something that would just be an add on to a plate that was already full. And I love that. And even with career and everything else. So I am just like trying to reiterate to my single sisters out there, fill up your plate. Fill up your plate with all the things you love, your career, your dreams, your goals. Fill up your plate, girl. And so when the person does come, if that's what you desire, that your plate is full. He is just going to be an add-on. He isn't going to run this thing. He isn't going to change this thing. He is an add-on to your already full life. And I think that I'm so grateful the Lord took me on that journey versus when I was 23 and 24 and 25, when I felt that pressure. I just wanted to get married. It's like, I just need to get married so that I'm complete. And then it's like I started to go through a journey like, I don't actually want that right now. I don't want that for this version of Morgan. I did not want that for my mid-20s. I didn't want that for my late 20s. I did not want that. I wanted, and it was so hard to say, and I maybe at 32 now I can say it, but it was so hard to say until stuff hit the fan that I don't want that. That was so hard to say, that I don't want to share a house with you, sir. Like, I like you, but I don't want to share a home with you. I don't want to do life with you yet. Like, I don't want that. That was so hard to say. But when I finally would get to it, I would be like, I'm going to go do me. Like, I want to go live my life. And I'm so glad God gave me that privilege in my late 20s to go and do that. So now I can do life with somebody. I have the luxury now to do life with someone, and I see the beauty in it. When in the early 20s, I'm glad God gave me that opportunity, because then that could have been something I could have been yearning for. Like in my 30s, I could have been yearning for, man, I really wish I would have gave myself that time. And I don't yearn for that, because I did, because God did. And so the pressure that the church and the Christian atmosphere puts on us, I want to tell you, girl, don't carry that. God, if you long for a husband and you want that, then that's a desire God has put in your heart, and that's beautiful and that's perfect, and let that be that. But don't feel like, man, I'm 25 and there's still no prospects. Don't let that be the thing that spirals you to go talk to someone that you know you don't want to talk to. Don't be like, oh, I'm 29 and I don't got no prospects. Don't make that be the reason why you go over and grab something. Let God be the leading factor in that. And just your true, honest desires be the leading factor. And so, yeah, I know I said a mouthful on this whole episode about the pressure. But like I said, you guys, that comment that the girl said, like, hold on, you don't even have a man yet? Like, what is going on? Like, this to me was like, she did say no offense, so I do appreciate that. But girl, you don't even have a man yet? It's been decades. And let's say I did not have a man, because I am married now. But let's say when she sent that, I did not have a man and I still was single. Who cares? What's the problem? If my plate is full, if I'm fulfilled, if I'm walking in the ways of the Lord, if I'm doing the great exploits and the things he called me to do, who cares if I had a man or not? Who cares if I am complete in Christ? Who cares if I had a ring on this finger or not? Like, that's how I get now. But like, I do get it though. That pressure is real. But who cares if I didn't have a man yet? Who cares, right? And you might be like, well, Morgan, it's easy for you to say now you are married. Yes, but I went so many years without it, and I wish I had that boldness to say, who cares? Who cares? If I'm happy, if my bills are paid, if I'm good, then that's all that matters in the Lord. Amen? Okay, who cares? And ladies, be okay when your desires change. You might have been like me, where you started off like wanting marriage, and then you're like, hold on, I don't know. And then you might have jumped in it and you're like, actually, I do again. Or you might have started off saying, I don't want kids, and then you do want kids. Be okay when your desires change. And I do feel like that's the beauty and the liberty of our walk with God, that God gives us that liberty when our desires change. At 32 years old right now, I want marriage, but I don't want kids. When I was 28, 29, I did not want marriage and I did not want kids, right? And so things started to change for me. So at 29, I was like, okay, 30, I think I do want marriage. And that's okay for me to say that, right? It is okay when your desires change. Be all right with that, ladies. Be okay with that. All right? Give yourself that freedom and that liberty that says, you know what? At 25, I didn't want kids, but now I do. Or at 30, I didn't want to get married, but now I do. Be okay with that. You have the liberty. This is your life. And God is living your life through you. He's breathing through you. But you have that liberty. So don't feel the pressure to grab a hold to the next man that you don't even care for. Or you don't even want. Don't feel the pressure to chat with someone because your time is ticking. The clock that you put there is ticking. Do not feel that pressure to do things that don't feel right to you in this current season of your life or in just this current era of your life. Don't feel that pressure. And I am so grateful that at 31, God allowed me to marry. Like, I'm so grateful for that because I got to learn so much in my 20s, so much that is going to make me better and better. So I'm grateful that God took me the longer route, so to speak. I'm so grateful for that. So ladies, if you enjoyed this episode of Pretty Fearless, comment down below your best and favorite takeaway, that thing that just spoke to you the most. And also tell me, do you agree with this? Do you really agree like that there might be a pressure in the church to marry and to have babies? Like, do you feel that? Let me know what you think. Also, if you want to be in the running for our Fearless merch giveaway, make sure you share a picture of you following us on Instagram, tag us at Morgan Tracy J, and be in the running for our Fearless merch giveaway. Bye, ladies. Stay fearless.